Starting with Erin's work here, which looks quite nice. First, assignment 3. Well, this was a little bit of a challenge because the color that you started with, Erin, why, it's a dark tone. So perhaps it wasn't as easy as it might have been to get the desired results, but you do have them. I checked in grayscale and tones looks pretty good. There's a little variation. Things get lighter toward the right side, but generally it's good. And then in your assignment 4, I checked the saturation in the first part, which is perfect. The only thing I'd say about that, which also affects a couple of the others perhaps, is the idea of gradation isn't as strong as it could be, a gradual transition. But your color ideas are correct here. And now Veronica's work. Her assignment 3 looks quite good. I think the only thing I could say about that is there might be one more step between blocks 9 and white in tints. But really this is quite a nice scale, or set of scales. And I'm admiring also her assignment for part 2, the gradation in value, as well as the gradation saturation. And I took a look at that one in grayscale as well. It seems okay. With regard to part 2, I'd say watch the originality idea. This idea bears some resemblance to this sample, so if you can push your ideas a little further, that would be good. Next we have Flo's work and a lovely set of scales. The tone scale in terms of value is perfect. If there was anything wanting, it might be that there could be a little more variation at the start of tints. Now, with regard to assignment 4, I've checked saturation in part 1, perfect. And the other parts look very nice. I think part 3 is kind of exciting and unexpected. I would say in the middle of part 2, beware. Your colors are different from circle to circle. However, beware of what the eye sees and try to let the interval be apparent to the eye. Here we have April's work, and in her assignment 3 she started with a dark shade, which was a little bit tricky, but in all I think things work out okay. We see in her assignment 4 that she's got some forms. They look biomorphic with tentacles, perhaps. There's a common theme, and there's a lot of intricacy in these works. So part 1 looks fine, part 2 as well. I wanted to take a look at part 3, which amazingly has very constant value, and I think yellow is a hard color to work with regard to that. I'm wondering about the radial gradation, the gradient in the background there. I don't know that that's helping your composition, but this is ambitious work. And here is Juanita's work. I'm taking a look at the scales. They look okay. And next, part 1 of assignment 4. This is the right idea. However, the colors are not at full saturation, and I want you to go back and take a look at my notes in the discussion on drafts. Also, I want you to make sure that you're working in RGB color mode rather than CMYK. I'm not sure, but that could be a factor. Part 2 looks fantastic. With part 3, there was a requirement to keep hue constant, which means there should be just one color. And I know some of your classmates have used a contrasting color for the backdrop. In this case, the colors are used in foreground and background. So here's Donamar's work, and things look pretty good in the scales. I guess I had to point out that in tones we don't have constant value. What you really want there is gray at the right end, and that gray should be the same value as the green color that you started with. Go back to the discussion and take a closer look at what I was saying there. Now, with regard to assignment 4, things look good. I wanna talk about part one first. And here I don't see fully saturated colors all the time, and I think I know which one you mean to be part one. It would be the one adjacent to scales on top there. Now part two looks fantastic, bottom left. And for part three, your best solution is the eye, bottom middle here. Now I'm taking a look at the one on right at bottom, and I'm thinking maybe you were considering that to be part three, but it doesn't work out for part three because all colors are fully saturated. Here we have Teresa's work and things are looking well. I'm taking a look at assignment 3. One thing that jumps out at me from the start is that your last square in tints should be pure white. And when I take a look at the grayscale version I've made here for tones, I don't see value as constant as it could be. Notice that your squares are getting darker toward the right. They should stay the same in value. Now, on to assignment 4. Wow, part 1 looks fantastic. That's really a beautiful solution. And part 2 is expert as well. Part 3 is more subtle, but that's correct. Okay, Gloria, we're looking at assignment 3. You know, this is close to what we're looking for. I can see you didn't use the template, so that was extra work. The assignment did call for 10 boxes in each scale, and all of the leftmost boxes, the box with which you start in every scale, why those colors should be identical, and there's a little fluctuation here. With tints, we wanted to end in white, with shades black, and with tones we're trying to keep value constant across the entire scale. And when I look at my grayscale version of your work, I notice that there is little variation. Things get darker to the right. Now, on the other hand, we'll get a chance to look at assignment 4, which is quite good. You know, at first I put your part 1 with the parts 2, and pardon me, actually you do have only one color here in Photoshop. However, it looks like you have 2 or more, and I will accept that. It looks as though we have blue and purple. The only problem here is that all the colors are not fully saturated. You have some tints and some shades or tones here. So in that regard, your part 1 doesn't meet the assignment completely. However, part 2 does. That's a great gradation of value. And part 3 looks quite good as well. Alright, Joni's work looks quite good. I think we need a pure white at the end of tints, and tones gets a little dark. That should end in a gray that is the same value as the one, the color on the left. Great design ideas for your compositions in assignment 4. I would say that part 1 could stand to be more of a gradation. Part 2 looks just fine, and part 3, let's see. One of the directives there was to keep hue constant. Well, Amy's been working hard. Here, let's take a look at her scales. They're quite good. Maybe a bit of a jump from the tint adjacent to white itself. And there might be a couple toward the right end of tones where it could have been a more even transition. But really, this is quite nice work. And looking at assignment 4, you know, I don't find any fault with those at all. And Amy presented drafts, and she's revised every one of these, I believe. Wow, well, this is nice work, and Chuck has done some revisions. He's really played with the program and the assignments. I find assignment 3 to be just about perfect. And when I looked at assignment 4, you know, I noticed some changes from drafts. He's adjusted things. I'm kind of astonished by part 2. That's really a lovely composition. In part 3, you know, I see a gradation from a tone to a shade, but not so much gradation in saturation. Okay, here's Christina's work, and well, with assignment 3, the work could be a little stronger. I see variation in hue. Hue should have been constant. And Christina, I'm going to refer you to the discussion in drafts for that assignment for more information. Now, I've taken a look at all 3 parts to assignment 4, and they all look great. And I especially like the design ideas for part 1 and 3. I would say part 2, like one of your classmates, is a lot like the assignment sample, and I want you to push things a little further and be as original as you can.